This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today's video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. You know, Republicans talk a lot. They talk a lot. But they talk a lot about how Joe Biden is suffering cognitive decline, that he is in the throes of senility. He's locked in his basement. He has to have everything written down for him. He can't communicate at all. When it's Republicans who have the faulty memory, they're not able to parse together when and when not Joe Biden was president. They forget 2020, the year that Donald Trump was finishing his presidency. I'm going to talk about a few things here. One is I'm going to play this clip of Joe Biden just absolutely wrecking with his addled brain, quote unquote, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a man who they think is the devil and ruining everything, while at the same time thinking that he can't rub two sentences together to make fire, whatever that means. And then I'm going to play a clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene in a committee hearing yesterday, using tragedy, a mother's loss of her two sons to fentanyl, and using it as a cudgel to try to batter Joe Biden, but forgetting or being too stupid to understand that those two kids died during Donald Trump's presidency from fentanyl that was brought into the country from Mexico, ostensibly, during Donald Trump's presidency. And then I'm going to give you a few other examples of Republicans who are so stupid, who are so, maybe it's just their blind ambition to own the libs, blinds them from the realities of history and a timeline that's accurate. Wait, there's some good stuff here. Before I get to that, though, a word from today's sponsor, Private Internet Access. A new year is upon us, and along with it, our resolutions. I certainly intend to travel more, and yeah, I should probably cut back on the bacon too. But one definite vow of mine is to continue to shore up my digital security in 2023. And I think you should too. Private Internet Access is the world's top virtual private network provider. Their VPN leads the industry, encrypting all the data you send via the internet, safeguarding your passwords, personal information, and private messages. They also have a proven no logs policy, which means that they don't store any user data, and it has been proved multiple times in court, as well as verified by an independent third-party audit conducted by Deloitte, which means that you can rest assured that their commitment to protect your privacy is absolutely bulletproof. Start the new year off safer. Head to piavpn.com/Dollemore to access an 83% discount on private internet access, plus 4 extra months free. This means fully secure browsing for just over $2 per month. And safety isn't all that's on the offer. Private Internet Access has servers in each of the 50 U.S. states and over 83 countries, which allows you to avoid sporting event blackouts and access international Netflix libraries. Plus, it's one of the few VPNs that supports P2P file sharing. With Private Internet Access, you can do all of this from all platforms: Windows, Mac OS, Android, Linux, etc. And their 30-day money-back guarantee makes signing up risk-free. With over 30 million downloads, Private Internet Access is the best way to protect your digital assets as you move into this next year, 2023. Go to piavpn.com/Dollemore now to access an 83% discount on Private Internet Access, plus 4 extra months free. This means excellent online defense for just $2.03 per month. With Private Internet Access, protection can be your New Year's resolution. All right, here is that clip of Joe Biden. Really, It's a golden moment from Joe Biden. He flashes that dynamite smile, engages the crowd. This is not a man who is senile. This is not a man who's suffering from dementia. All of that can be set aside easily just by a cursory understanding of who he is and what he has been over the course of his decades in politics. Watch this from President Joe Biden.
Hell, I acknowledge, but it's there. And, you know, a little bit of more Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few more, you're going to have a lot of Republicans running our way. Isn't she amazing? Oof. Ours, the reason she was very specific. I shouldn't digress probably, but I've read. She was very specific recently, saying that a mom, a poor mother who lost 2 kids to fentanyl, that I killed her sons. Well, the interesting thing is that fentanyl they took came during the last administration.
Now, I guess I should say, first off, I disagree with Joe Biden here. I don't think that a lot of Republicans are going to be flooding into the arms of Democrats or even ideologically because of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is mainstream. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the norm for the Republican Party. She's not fringe anymore. She's almost a nightly guest on the mainstay programs of Fox News, which is mainstream Republicanism. So I disagree there, but his point is absolutely correct. She tweeted this: "Listen to this mother who lost 2 children to fentanyl poisoning tell the truth about both her sons' murders because of the Biden administration's refusal to secure our border and stop the cartels from murdering Americans every day by Chinese fentanyl." And she accompanied with this tweet what was this video. I guess I'll just play the initial portion of it, and then we'll talk about how she is absolutely, without doubt, wrong, stupid, and dangerous for America.
Should never have happened to you. It should never happen to any family. It happens to families at home where I live. It happens to pretty much everyone we know. And I want to ask you, first I want to thank you for being brave to come here and share your grief with our committee. But Ms. Kiesling, would your sons be alive today if our government would secure our southern border?
The year Caleb was born, 2000, there were 20,000 drug-related deaths. And the year they died, it was 5 times as many. And I appreciate you using the term fentanyl poisoning, because that's what it was. It wasn't an overdose. They had no idea that they were doing anything that could kill them. And it's because fentanyl got into this country. I heard this man over here from the Cato Institute, talk about, well, it's because of demand. What I'm hearing him say is they asked for it. What the hell? Seriously? Are you kidding me? We need to protect our children. They didn't ask for that. This wasn't demand. They wanted the fentanyl. They didn't want fentanyl. They thought they were getting Percocets.
Now look, that woman is experiencing unimaginable pain. She lost 2 of her kids at the same day from fentanyl. That is nothing to be mocked. That is nothing to be made light of. That is not anything to politicize. It's certainly not something to parade her before a committee for your political agenda, which is to just own Joe Biden, to talk about the border. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a ghoul who doesn't care about this lady, doesn't care about this woman's pain. Listen to this mother, she tweeted, who lost 2 children to fentanyl poisoning, tell the truth about both her sons' murders because of the Biden administration's refusal. Now, the reason this is wrong, let me read from this Detroit News article. Kiesling said her 2 sons, Caleb, 20, and Kyler, 18, died July 29th, 2020 from fentanyl poisoning, along with 17-year-old Sophia Harris, when they took what they thought were Percocet pills that turned out to contain the drug fentanyl. July 29th, 2020, the 2020 election hadn't even happened yet. Donald Trump hadn't even found out whether he was going to win or lose the election. It was still solidly a Donald Trump presidency. And their death, tragic death, isn't on Joe Biden. And it's ghoulish and sickening and reprehensible to parade this woman out with the intent of owning Joe Biden for their deaths, her son's deaths. Does something need to be done? Yes. And we need to formulate policy that will deal with the problem of fentanyl and overdoses and drug addiction in general more seriously, without doubt. But the fact that Republicans are so desperate to own the libs, to pin anything and everything on Joe Biden, even when he wasn't president, is just nonsense. Here's Representative Randy Feenstra. He tweeted this: "This is absolutely ridiculous. President Biden not only paid people to stay home at the expense of the American taxpayers, but under his watch, $191 billion in unemployment benefits were also misspent and wasted. We need to restore fiscal responsibility now," Randy Feenstra says. Oddly enough, though, the article that he tweeted, he didn't read, or he read and didn't comprehend, which is even more egregious. The Wall Street Journal article here, some $191 billion in pandemic payments may have been improper, Labor Inspector General says. Watchdog told Congress that lowered standards meant to speed up payments made it easier for fraudulent benefits. And then here's this strange paragraph that didn't get read by the congressman. Pandemic relief laws that Congress passed and President Donald Trump signed into law in 2020 increased the amount paid through unemployment insurance and extended the time recipients could receive payments. In some cases, lower wage workers received more in benefits than their former paychecks. Randy Feenstra, moron extraordinaire, representative of a constituency, voted for by the people. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the same can be said about. Are there things to criticize Joe Biden about? Of course, leadership is hard. Running a country with varied, diverging interests is almost an impossible task to do perfectly. It is an impossible task to do perfectly. But you gotta know when you're dragging a woman before Congress to testify about the tragic deaths of her sons, or tweeting out an article, you gotta know who you're attacking here, because what Marjorie Greene is saying here is that Donald Trump is to blame. If it were a few months later and it would be Biden's fault, what she's saying is Donald Trump is to blame for those two kids' deaths. Randy Feenstra is saying Donald Trump is to blame for the problem I'm randomly tweeting about. In their never-ending quest to own the libs, they own themselves. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. So the podcast studio that I've been talking about is almost complete, like 95% complete. We're gonna start to hopefully post at least one of our two podcast episodes of I Doubt It online on YouTube, the video version. And the first one went up today. I would encourage you to go through my timeline, find that episode, and watch it. We'd love your input. We would love your subscription. We would love your viewership, and we would love your feedback. We play voicemails and read emails on every single show, and we would encourage you to sound off. Go check that out. Follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore just about everywhere. And if you appreciate what I do and you want to help contribute to supporting this work, click the join button below, become a channel member, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. The other thing, now that this studio is virtually done, my wife and my partner in life, my partner in content creation, Brittany Page, her channel is now back online, back at it. She is making content, doing interviews, and I would encourage you to go subscribe to her channel. There is a lot of really amazing content that she's creating on topics that don't always get the love and viewership that they should. And I know my audience well enough I know that you would be interested in what she is creating over there. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.